In this video, I'm going to be talking about what it's like to be a professional ultra distance runner living on the carnivore diet. First, a little backstory. Last year, in 2022, in July, I made the monumentous decision to become a full-time professional athlete at the age of 57. Now, I'm not sure how many people you know who are professional athletes in their 50s, but I decided that I have a goal and a dream that I want to achieve as a runner, and the only way I'm going to be able to do that is to dedicate my entire life, every day, to training and preparing to do that dream. So what is the dream? Well, the dream is I want to become a world champion at the UTMB race in France. This is a 170 kilometer or 102 miles ultra trail running race around the Massif of Mont Blanc, and it's a trail race that goes over 9 mountain peaks into Italy, Switzerland, and back into France, finishing in Chamonix. So that's my goal that I want to achieve in the next 3 years. Now, to take on this goal, I wanted to make sure that I prepare the best I possibly can, and I've got myself a couple of coaches, I've got myself a great support network, and then I wanted to decide how I was going to work out my eating plan and my nutrition plan. So that was the next step in my journey. So when I started my journey back in July of last year, I was 100 kilos in weight, 220 odd pounds, and I was pretty lifeless. So in the ensuing months, I went about just building up my fitness, running every day, and getting longer and longer distances involved in my running. That all worked out really well, and just before Christmas I was weighing in around 86 kilos, or about 189 pounds, and then I got COVID in December. And COVID really knocked me about, so I had a hard time with COVID. And during that time with COVID, I continued my research that I'd been doing on the carnivore diet and looking into particularly some endurance athletes that have been using the carnivore diet to their advantage over the last few years. And I was deciding, well, you know what, I have a lot of troubles with carbs, particularly when I'm running long distances. They upset my stomach, I get inflammation in the gut, I have problems with digestion, and they don't really make me feel energized at all, even though they're supposed to be the fuel of life. So the carnivore diet and the carnivore way of eating really came on my radar as an opportunity to push the limits and see what I'm actually capable of doing. I sat down and talked to my wife on several occasions about becoming a carnivore eater, and she was very supportive and wanted me to do whatever I felt was best for me. So after probably about a year's research time, I decided in January of this year to become a carnivore diet practitioner, and I started off on carnivore. And that was 2.5 weeks ago now, so I've only been on carnivore diet for 2.5 weeks, but I plan to be making videos here on my YouTube channel explaining how the carnivore diet in particular is impacting my athletic performance. You can check out other videos on my channel that I talk generally about the carnivore diet, but if you're specifically into exercise and in particular running and maybe endurance distance running, then you might be interested in these videos that I'm going to be putting out. So since I started the carnivore diet 2.5 weeks ago, my running has been rubbish. That's for sure. So I'm really struggling when it comes to energy levels during my run, which is quite irrational really, because during the rest of the day I have a lot of energy levels. The carnivore diet is doing a lot of amazing benefits for me that I'm finding, but when it comes to energy and fuel when I run, I feel very weak indeed. My recovery is very slow, and my heart rate is about 10 beats higher than what it used to be when I was pre-carnivore. So that's been really interesting as well. My speed is dropped about 1 minute per kilometer slower. So from a statistical point of view, I used to run comfortably at about 4:45 per kilometre pace to 4:55. I'm now running at 5:30 to 5:45 per kilometre, minutes per kilometre. So a significant drop off, and with an elevated heart rate. So I'm picking that so far I still haven't been able to tweak the diet to get it in that window of optimization for my training and my recovery. Now, one thing that I have done is I've really reduced the amount of running that I'm doing. So I am running every day, but I'm running at least 50% less than what I used to before I started Carnivore Diet. A lot of information out there about not stressing the body too much before you go into fat adaptation. I don't believe I'm fully into fat adaptation as yet. I'm past the keto flu stage, that's for sure, I know that, but I haven't got into fat adaptation. So I've been taking it really easy. My runs are somewhere between 6 and 7 kilometers in distance, very slow pace. Just feels like the legs are ticking over, and that's about all at the moment. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen as I progress. In addition to my running, I'm doing a lot of strength and core training and mobility training, and I am finding that I've got more strength and more energy during those sessions. So those sessions, which last roughly around about 45 minutes to 1 hour in duration, those sessions are going really well for me. So I'm really happy on how Carnivore is impacting that part of my training program. But when it comes to the running, it really is quite difficult at the moment. Now on those runs, even though I'm running quite a short distance, I am taking electrolytes, I am having lots of hydration during those runs, and the same when I get back as well. So yeah, really interesting to see what's going to happen as I continue. My goal for the next few months is quite extensive and intensive when it comes to the mileage that I need to build up. I'm going to tell you about that a little bit more now. So in May of this year, 2023, I'm going to be participating in my own charity run that I'm doing through the United Kingdom. I'm going to run 1,800 kilometres from the Land's End mark at the bottom of England to the top of Scotland at John O'Groats. A very popular cyclist route this for a lot of people that cycle it, but I'm going to be running it. And I'm doing this to promote awareness of mental health in sport. There's a lot of issues with mental health in sport. You might be watching this video today and be either a professional sports person or an elite performer, and you know what I'm talking about when it comes to mental health issues in the world of sport. So in May of this year, I'm setting off from the southern part of England to do this run, which is probably going to take me around about 60 days. I'm going to run between a half marathon and 25 kilometers every single day for 60 days. And that's going to be one of the endurance feats that I'm taking on this year. So I've got a few months still to build up and get my body back into shape. I really hope that the Carnivore Diet is kicking in and giving me all the benefits by then. We're a few months away, so I'm going to slowly and steadily increase my mileage as and when I start to feel better and stronger. As an athlete, you're always listening to your body, and you know, your body tells you in no uncertain terms where it's at in terms of fitness level. So I've got some big plans coming up this year, a lot of exciting things happening from an athletic point of view as I head towards my goal in the next 3 years of becoming a world champion at the UTMB ultra marathon race. But before we get there, I want to tick off some other milestones along the way. Now, one of the other things I wanted to share in this video is that a lot of people have different variations of the Carnivore Diet. So I just want to let you know exactly, as an athlete, what am I eating every day? Well, first of all, my first meal comes at around about 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning. And that is because I do intermittent fasting as well. So for 16 hours a day, I'm not eating. And for the remaining 8 hours is what I call my eating window. So my first meal is somewhere between 10 and 11 o'clock. And it's a big steak with plenty of eggs, 4 or 5 eggs, and a lot of salt and butter on that meal as well. I don't drink during the meal. I try to drink afterwards, and making sure that I get plenty of electrolytes and water. Very, very important to stay hydrated on the Carnivore Diet. So my second meal, if I'm eating a second meal a day, which I am at the moment, I intend to probably go to 1 meal a day. But if I am eating a second meal, then that's happening around about 4:30 to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now that's the only other meal I have during the day. I don't have any snacking in between, and I limit myself to those meals. In fact, the reason I limit myself to those meals is I'm just not hungry. I'm not having that kind of hunger knock that I get when I was eating carbohydrates all the time. So really interesting part of being on the carnivore diet is the fact that you're not getting hungry during the day, and my gut health has improved significantly. I'm not getting those terrible inflammation and bouts of up and down with sugar fixes and all the rest of it during the day. All those have completely gone since I've been on the carnivore diet. So that's my eating plan for the day. I'm just eating meat, eggs, salt, butter, water, and electrolytes. Those are my 6 ingredients of life, as I call them now, and that all seems to be working very well. I probably will add cheese, hard cheeses, into my diet later on, but I want to be on it for a few months first before I start making any adaptations to the carnivore diet that I'm on, and just see how it goes from that perspective. Yeah, that's what I'm doing as far as eating every day. Very simple program, and it takes a lot of the fuss out about thinking about meals as well. Not that that's a reason why I'm doing the carnivore diet as an athlete, but it does make meal preparation time a lot easier and a lot faster as well. So yeah, in future videos I'm going to be including more statistical information and data around my training performances since I started on the carnivore diet, so you can all see what their performance impact has been as I continue this journey. As I said in the beginning of the video, I'm only 2.5 weeks into this journey of being a carnivore practitioner, so we've got to wait a little bit longer to see the full impact on what's happening. Now, whether or not in the next week or so I come into fat adaptation and I start to get my energy back on the runs, we'll have to wait and see, but I'll be making sure that I highlight all that information and more here in these videos that I'm making about this journey. So if you think this journey is going to be interesting to you, either as an athlete or someone that's interested in performance and sport, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, and I'd love to have you along for the journey. Well, I better go now. It's time to do a core workout this afternoon, and I'll see you all again soon in the next video. Until then, stay safe and stay well, everyone.